Hello and welcome to episode 54 of the Knit Sip Happy podcast. My name is Nancy and I'm coming to you from the east coast of Canada, just outside of Moncton, New Brunswick. Hello, how are you? It has been a while. I took a bit of an unintentional summer break and then I was going to come back about a week and a half ago, and then things kind of got crazy around here. If you've seen my posts on Instagram, we've had some issues with forest fires and drought, and I'll give you the full life update later. But here we are outside enjoying a beautiful late August. It's August 20th, late August day. It's about 20 degrees, slightly cloudy. I do have light coming at me from that side, so I'm a little dark on this side, but that's okay. I'll be able to show you the yarn and everything I've got to talk about today. How have you been? I hope you've had a great summer. I hope it hasn't been too stinking hot or too dry or too smoky. I hope you've been able to enjoy it. And Southern Hemisphere folks, you're almost there. You are almost back to some nice weather. You're coming to the end of it. Just to let you know, I might be a little rusty. It feels like it's been ages since I've been here to have a chat. Everything I talk about will be linked down below in the description box. There's full show notes with clickable links, and if I miss anything, just let me know and I will come back and add that for you. I should also mention I'm catching up with comments. I kind of let that slip on my summer break as well, and I apologize for that. I'm almost caught up, and thank you for your patience. So, what I am drinking is a mango citrus sangria kind of thing. It's a pre-done bottle that we make, a pre-flavored sangria. Light and fruity. I said it doesn't feel that warm out here, but it's got a bit of muggy, and the birds are chirping away. So all of you who are here for the bird background noise, then buckle up, because it sounds like it's going to be a good one. The thing with this stuff, these sangrias, is they're very low in alcohol, so they're easy to drink, and yeah, just sip away. All right, so we're going to do some finished objects, some whips, some spinning, some stitching, and some life chat at the end. Where should we start? You've got a few whips that you haven't seen before. I'm going to start with the ones that you have seen before. Did I say whips? Here we go, FOs. So first FO I'm going to show you is pair of socks. These are the Diva socks. This pattern is from Libby Johnson at Truly Myrtle, and it's a new pattern. I'm not sure when it's coming out. The deadline for the test was the end of August. So I did the large size, man size for my son Zach, and it's using two colors. So the contrast or slip stitch color is a Drops Fable, and the Knit Picks, the main color, the blue, is Knit Picks. I know it's Manatee, it's their Stroll hand dyed or hand painted. The Ravelry page will be linked below. I had forgotten to weigh my yarn, so I just did that out of curiosity's sake, and I used 35 grams of the blue and 40 grams of the burgundy for the pair. That doesn't sound like a lot, does it? It was a 50-gram ball of drops, so 75 grams for a man-sized pair of socks. That feels like pretty good yardage. I didn't weigh either of them before I started, so I don't know if any of them were overweight to start with, but yep, so this will get tucked away. I've already done his socks for this Christmas, so whether he gets two this Christmas or I'll save a pair for his birthday in March, I don't know. But those are finished. And the other pair that are finished is, I call these on Ravelry Sock Blank Fun, because I had a lot of fun with the sock blank. I have these marked down as a whip last time that I was here, but I'm not sure, maybe they were finished. Anyway, so this is the main color is a sock blank from Lay Family Yarns, and Kelly very kindly sent me a set that also had 3 minis. So I've used all 3 minis in different ways, and the pattern that I used is my Sliptastic DK. I just used the color work section from that pattern. I didn't do any color management, so you can see there is a bit of a jog there, but these are just for me. The second sock is, actually I'll put it on the blocker because I did mention this last time with a sock blank and I didn't bring the leftover out. It's a piece of knitted fabric, so the colors disperse quite differently. So this one is very green, yellowy green as part of the body, and this one has introduced more of the orange and purpley specks. So a fun pair of socks, and these are for me. They're going in my sock drawer now that I've shown them to you. So FOs, those are the only ones that you have seen so far. I cast on and knit a pair of my Wiget sock pattern. This is using, I didn't write down the yarn. This is using a German self-striping yarn out of my stash. I'm not quite sure how old it is even, but this is one of my patterns, the Wiget socks. The Ravelry page will be linked below if you are interested in the exact yarn, but it's just a nice sturdy German yarn. These are going to my aunt in England. So I did a 72 stitch sock just to give her a bit more space. I always knit my socks on 2.25mm needles if I don't mention that, and I probably should. These were knit Magic Loop. I either alternate between Magic Loop and 9-inch circulars, but most times it's Magic Loop. I've never used 16-inch circulars. Somebody asked me this in the comments, so I thought I should probably just mention it. I've never used 2 16-inch circulars. I learned to knit socks on double-pointed needles, and when I discovered Magic Loop, loved that, and then the 9-inch circular. For certain patterns, I really enjoy 9-inch circulars as well. So, nice blues and turquoises and teals. But, finished pair. And then I just cast these on, it's Wednesday today, Saturday night or Sunday. I was looking for a quick project, instant gratification. And if you've been around before, you know I knit, the pattern is called Joe's Perfect Slipper Socks. I test knit this pattern originally 2017, 2018, I think I looked it up. So it is a DK slipper sock with a rolled cuff, nice kind of slip stitch knit purl texture on the front. So this is knit toe up, and then you knit up, you start, and then you put the front on hold and knit the back of the foot, turn the heel, and then come back and pick up all of the stitches all the way around, and then carry on knitting to the little short leg. So these are for my lovely mother-in-law, so it's not going to be a surprise because I know she watches the episode. So whenever Brad goes to visit, hopefully we'll get him out there this fall to Newfoundland. He'll be bringing at least 1 pair, possibly 2. I used Knit Picks Hawthorne DK that was in my stash. I had purchased it last year because I've only ever tried their fingering weight. So the DK weight, it's an 80% superwash Highland wool, 20% polyamide, and the colorway is Springfield Tonal. And I had quite a bit left. I didn't weigh it. So this will either be heels, toes, and cuffs on a DK pair of socks. We'll see what I've got left over from the other color. I have kind of a mauvey gray color, I think, is the other one that I picked up last year from Knit Picks. So maybe I'll be able to get a 3rd pair out, either striped or with contrasting toes and heels. We'll see. we'll see what I can do. But another finished object. The last two will lead into the first whip. Friend Samantha's maid of honor and one of her really good friends is expecting a baby in September. So that of course meant I needed to whip out my favorite baby patterns, which you have seen before. This is the beloved baby bonnet from Tin Can Knits. This time I knit the newborn size. I normally knit a larger size depending on when the baby is born. This baby's being born in September, so heading into the cold weather, so it will get, she's a girl, she will get the wear of this. So they are going with kind of greens. The color's not showing very well on this little screen that I'm using. We'll see how it turns out. It's a really nice mid-tone, cool, olivey green. It's a Cascade Heritage. I can't find the ball band, but it is linked in my project page, which is below if you need it. So the Beloved Bonnet is a DK weight pattern, so I held the Cascade Heritage, 2 strands of it are held double to get the gauge for this pattern. I measured, actually, I counted the rows on these I-cord ties, and one of them is definitely shorter than the other. But I haven't blocked this yet, so when I block it, I'll make sure they're blocked to the same length. You can see it's just a little ripply here from the short rows, so once I block that out, it'll be nice. And it's made a lovely squishy fabric. That Cascade Heritage is a really nice yarn. So, and then I knit a little pair of perfect newborn socks. These are using the yarn held single on 2.25mm needle. It is knit cuff down with a 2x2 ribbing, so nice and stretchy. I modify this pattern. I think it has 32 stitches to be cast on. I cast on 36 just for a bit more stretch to get a little longer. So it can be turned down and cuffed, or it can have the leg left. And again, this hasn't been blocked either. So I did this in a specific order. I knit the Beloved Bonnet first with the yarn held double, and then I knit the socks. And my first whip that I'm going to show you, I thought would be better for the first, or for the last whip out of this 100-gram skein of Cascade Heritage. Now, which project bag is it in? So that is it for FOs, for knitted FOs. I've got some other finished objects coming up later in spinning and stitching. But if you've been around, you know that this set of knit things I tend to do for babies is the Beloved Bonnet, the Perfect Newborn Socks, and a pair of the Drops knitted pants or leggings. It's a numbered pattern, so I'll have it linked below, or I may put it up on the screen. But I have quite a bit of yarn left over. The knitted pants are a fingering weight pattern, so I figured that I would knit these last because I usually make the knitted pants a little bit longer in the legs, so they can be cuffed up and used longer. So it starts top up. This is the top of the waistband. You do some short rows at the back to kind of lift the back a little higher. You can see it here. The back is lifted higher with short rows to cover that diaper bum, that nappy bum, but loads of stretch in this. So I think I'm pretty much done all of the increases to split for the legs, and then I put this down and I picked up something else. I can't remember what. Baby's due in September, so I will probably be able to show you this in September, and then I'll pop it in the mail, because I don't think Sam's going to see her for a bit now. But anyway, so I missed the shower. The shower was earlier this month, and I missed the shower. So, knitted pants. And I'll have lots of yarn to do this. So, great use for a 100-gram skein to get 3 little baby knits out of a 100-gram skein of fingering weight yarn. Oh, hang on. I just saw the tag. So, it's Cascade Heritage, which is the fingering weight, and the color is a number right there. I think when you put it into Ravelry, it gives you a color, but that's the color number that I'm using. So first whip is knitted pants, knitted baby pants. Just gonna put these other bits and bobs back in there and I'll block them all together when they're done. This is a languishing project. I'm not sure if I had shown where I was at last time I was here. Oh, hang on. So, back to... I did warn you, I'm out of practice. Back to the sock blank socks. Here is the rest of the sock blank. So you can see how the color changes as you go through it. So this is knitted fabric, a piece of knitted fabric that then you just knit from. And then you get this really fun color dispersal in different places. So I've got loads left to be able to knit another pair. This is what I have left of the minis. These were 10-gram minis. So I will, I'd be able to use these two for probably cuff stripes or something. And yeah, but I will have to put all of these together to knit another pair of socks. Or I could just grab minis scraps from my stash. So that's hiding in this beautiful bag from Michelle's Creations, who's a New Brunswick maker. These are my Lay Family Yarns projects, all went in here. So let me just shove all this back in here. So these are my beach hut socks. So this is self-striping yarn from Lay Family Yarns that came with a contrast speckle mini. So it was a 50-gram sock set, and I believe a 20, here's the tag, Lay Family Yarn. Yeah, so it's a 50-gram full and a 20-gram mini. So I had knit a cuff and a toe on each of them, but no heel. So I used my Smoke Gets in Your Eyes pattern, but I adjusted it to center it, the little stitch motif, to center it in basically in the center of each stripe. So the space, the number of rows in between the 2-row pattern repeat is different on this because I wanted to center it on the stripes. So I have picked up and cut open for an afterthought heel, but then went on to hold because there's a technique that I need to practice for my afterthought, my snip snip afterthought and forethought heel class I'm doing in Prince Edward Island. That'll be linked below if you're coming to PEI. Goodness, I'm looking in the wrong place. I'm so sorry. We're going back to the early days. I had a comment the other day. I got a lovely viewer, Karen, hello, going back and watching all of my episodes from the beginning. And my first episode was called Look at the Camera. Not at yourself on the screen. I'm teaching a class in Prince Edward Island Fibre Festival at the end of October for afterthought and forethought heels. And there's a really fun technique that I have done a couple of times. Well, I started to design a technique to put afterthought or to put short row gussets in the corner of an afterthought heel, and then realized it already existed, so I didn't need to design it. I contacted the designer, Talby Knits. I'll have her listed below. She's got tutorial, I think just a picture photo tutorial on how to do afterthought heels with short row gussets to increase the depth. So I want to do it more consciously and pay attention and make notes so that I can use it for teaching. So this kind of has sat like this for over a month. I can't even remember where it was at last time I was here. I think I might have just had the 2 tubes, or yeah. So this is kind of in a holding pattern. I probably won't get to this until September now. We are getting ready to go away on vacation in about 10 days. So I'm kind of dividing things up at this point into pre-vacation and post-vacation things to accomplish and to try and get done. All right, this is a long-term whip. We talked about this a little bit last time that I was here. I have finished and not put my stitch stoppers on. Hang on, I'm just gonna put my little cute Eeyore stitch marker. Needs to see Eeyore's face, not mine. Just gonna put those on. He's giving me the look of, why are you not done this project yet, lady? How are you not done this yet? No judgment, Eeyore. This is my Laya. So if you've been around for a while, I cast this on in April 2024 for my birthday. Worked on it sporadically through the summer and then hibernated it because I wasn't going to wear it over the winter, and then put it on around my birthday this year, or earlier in April 2025, tried it on because I wanted to use it for Knit City Montreal for our group project, and realized it didn't fit me anymore. It magically shrunk while it was in hibernation. It's funny how that happens. But I have been carrying on. I think it will fit me. But at this point, we're already at the end of August. So I will finish it and maybe wear it a couple of times, and then it will go away till next year. And who knows? Who knows where I will be next year and what size I will be next year and if this will fit me. All right, so this is a lovely pattern by Isabel Kramer. I have knit this now. This is my 4th time I've knit it. So beautiful lace, twisted stitch yoke. I'm knitting it as a t-shirt. I am working my way down through the body. I have this much yarn left. I am helically knitting from the inside and the outside of this last cake. I had 2 skeins of this yarn. It is Yarn Indulgences, I don't have a tag, Silken Linen, which is 65% silk, 35% linen. Really good yardage, I think 490 yards per skein. So generally, I just need 2 skeins to do a t-shirt for me. So this is where I'm at. I'm just going to show you. Somebody had asked me about this in the comments last time. So I am doing A-line shaping. I do a set of increases down the side seam. I have got a video, I'm going to guess, and I'm probably wrong. Either side, I'll put up a little info card linking that, how I modify my garments to fit my A-line shape, if anybody's interested. It's not just A-line, it's ways that you can adjust for boobs in the front, or, you know, it's just ways that you can adjust certain garments to get a better fit. And I just realized when I did this, I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Garden Gate by Jennifer Steingass. I test knit this pattern again 2018, 2019, I can't remember. It is a short sleeve. I modified it. I can't remember if it was a short sleeve, but I made it a short sleeve. Fingering weight, I'm using, I think this was a single ply yarn, which has held up pretty well. I do have some pilling underneath it, but I haven't debobbled it in quite a while. I don't wear it very often because on t-shirt days it can be too warm because you're double fabric here with the color work, and on the cooler days, it's without the sleeves, it's not warm enough for me. So, but today was 20, 21, 22, really cool this morning. I was out early this morning to run some errands, and it was perfect, just the weight I needed. So this is, I guess, a good fall garment for me. I will put in some pictures, or have put in some pictures, to show you my finished object pictures that are on Ravelry, because I don't want to stand up and mess up my setup. Okay. And this is a yoke sweater, which is why it made me think about it. So for yoke sweaters, there's ways to manipulate the number of stitches from the back to the front to accommodate and give you more space for your boobs. If you're bigger in the front than the back, if you're equidistant, most women are not equidistant front to back. So yeah, that little video just gives you my favorite hints and tips, and it includes instructions on how to figure out how often you should be doing these A-line increases to get you to the circumference that you need for the length that you need. So there's a little math in there, a little sweater math, and I just put the light bulb stitch markers in there to mark that I've done them, so I can count my rows. Whenever I separate for sleeves, I always put even if it doesn't call for it, the pattern doesn't call for it, I always put a stitch marker on each side to mark the center of the underarm. So that makes it a lot easier for me to do those A-line increases. Sometimes I don't think I'm going to do them, but then I change my mind and I do them. So just putting those markers in at the underarm, the center of the underarm stitches, just gives you an easy way to find that landmark on your garment if you decide to do the A-line shaping. So this will be done soon. It's pretty much my only vanilla knitting right now, so it has been getting a little love. I have not cast on a muscle burr. I said I was going to cast on a muscle burr because I needed vanilla, but I haven't. I've been using this as my vanilla knitting when I needed it. This beautiful bag is from Kim and Colin at Ginger Snap. It was very kindly gifted to me at Knit City, Montreal. All right. Laya knitted pants. Okay, the last knitted whip I have to show you is Samantha's Salty Days, and this has taken up a lot of my knitting time, but it's still not done. And I will tell you for why. It's also attached to yarn in multiple spots, and it's on 3 different sets of needles. So, last time I was here and showed this to you, I'm using a very glamorous plastic bin bag as the project bag on this. Last time I was here, I was concerned about the circumference of this, whether it was going to be big enough. I can't remember if Sam had been here or not, but I saw Sam, she tried it on, and I decided it was not big enough. So I ripped it back and started again, which was fine. It didn't bother me at all to do that and reknit it. So I cast on one more size. So I'm now working on the large size to get something like the small size in the pattern. I am using Sadness Yarn Lena. This is a DK weight yarn, summer weight yarn that is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. So, things that I have done since you saw this last. I ripped it back and started again. I added extra length. Oh, I should have put this on a hanger. Oh, that's good. I added extra length to this top ribbed section to fix the row gauge issues that I was also having. It wasn't big enough around. It also wasn't long enough because my stitches were also shorter as well as smaller, and I didn't accommodate for my smaller row gauge when I cast on originally. So I added in some extra rows of this ribbing and then worked my way down. I added some extra rows in the cable, and I made a mistake, and I've ended up with like a big chunk of stockinette there, and it's bothering me immensely. I have put the body on hold because I wanted Sam to try it on and see where the length was at. And now it's coming up a little too long by the time, once I do the ribbing. So I have decided, you're all going to think I'm bananas, but this is a process knit for me. I'm never going to wear it. This is for Sam, and I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm enjoying working with the yarn. The days are getting shorter. I can only work on it in daylight hours or with my neck light. Oh, the name just flew right out of my head. I did a collaboration with them last winter. I'll have it on the screen. I'm so sorry. I've been using my neck light quite a lot to help me with this dark yarn. But that is making me twitchy. I must have added in an extra row and not paid attention. So I need to go back and fix that. But I also think I'm going to pull out some of these extra cable repeats. I can't remember how many there were supposed to be originally, but I added more. So I'm going to pull out at least one of these cable sections and this little extra bonus that I don't know how I did it. And that'll shorten me up about 1 inch. And then we keep going down to another section of the diamond lace, more of the eyelets, more of the ribbing, and then I need to do the 1x1 twisted ribbing for the bottom hem, which is supposed to be 3 inches long. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it 3 inches long. Because here's the other issue. I'm worried about the amount of yarn I have left, which is why I put another reason I put the body on hold. So I have the part skein. Oh, hang on. Let me go back to where I'm at. I've done one sleeve pretty much to where it's supposed to be. Again, I didn't make any allowances for row gauge. Duh. I'm not going to pull this back out. I'm just going to make the ribbing a little bit longer. Sam was here last weekend for a flying visit and tried this on for me, and she does need a couple extra inches in the sleeve for sure. But I had already put this one, I had finished, this sleeve was one 50-gram ball of yarn. So I had already picked up the second sleeve by the time she'd come to see me. So I just figured I'd left the first sleeve on hold. I was working on the second sleeve. I figured I'd just carry on working on the second sleeve and then use that as my measuring tape to know how much extra I need to knit for her on the sleeve. So one sleeve is going to use a ball and a bit. So I only have one full skein left, and then I have some balls from this being ripped out a couple of times, and 2 other part skeins on my swatch. And that's one more part left over on my swatch. That's all the yarn I have left. So I need to, I just dropped one of those little balls. Oh, okay, it's not gone too far. All right. So I need to pull back the body anyway to give me enough yarn to finish this sucker off. I think I'm going to be close. I may not need to, but again, that extra chunk that I've managed to put in underneath the cables is not filling me with unending joy. So I'm going to pull it back. That'll give me 1 inch off of there. And then I can start the ribbing, probably do 2 inches of ribbing at the bottom. I might even pull, well, I was going to say I might even pull this back a little bit. I'm already pulled back to here, so it's fine. I said I'm enjoying the process. Oh, I also put the neckband on so that when Sam tried it on, that we'd have a better idea of how it was sitting, because the neckline was really low and loose, and I was worried that it would seem like it was sitting extra low. So this is the back that has that fun European shoulder seam with the eyelets. Yeah, there we go. So it's really pretty. It looks great on her. Like I said, I just need to fix an issue in the body, lengthen the sleeves, and carry on. These fruity wines are a bit of a slurper. Not a sipper. And I have my Kermit and Miss Piggy on this one. That's on the bottom. I said it's a mess. I've got so many things going on here, which is why it's just getting shoved into a plastic bag, because I couldn't get this into a project bag and have it stay somewhat organized. So I would like to say this will be done next time I see you, but we shall see. I make no promises. I make no promises. Okay, let's stay with knitting and do a quick design chat. Whew, that sun's come out. Just do a really quick design chat. Last time I was here, I was talking about a super secret advent design. It is done, tested. The pattern has gone to lovely Kelly at Lay Family Yarns to print off and send out with their advent calendar. I'm really, really happy with it. Yeah, I can't wait to be able to show you, but that's going to have to wait till December. So what I thought I would bring out and show you is a couple of other ideas that I have kind of cooking in the background. I decided I wanted to try a DK toe-up sock to see if the heel formula worked, to see if the gusset increase formula for a heel flap and gusset worked as well as it does for fingering weight. And it does, which of course it does, because it's based on row gauge, which is going to be different on a DK versus a fingering weight. However, let me show you the yarn. So I picked this sock set up from Rose Hill Yarn at Knit City, Montreal. Rose Hill Yarns. So they are an Alberta dyer in Canada. And there's something about this combination with this kind of sludgy green that really made me happy. It's a club color called April's Sunday Spin. So definitely not a fall color, but for me this rang like a fall color. The bright blue skies in September, October. And I'm planning this for a later in the fall release, probably into November. So this is toe up with the gusset increases, and I need to change this. I need to rip this out and start over. The math is mathin', everything is good. My gauge feels a little loose. I normally do all of my DK socks on a 3.25 millimeter. This is my Chow-Gu interchangeable set. I'm going to take this down to 3 millimeter to tighten up my gauge. When I compare it to my Niord DK sock, it's bigger by about a 1/4 inch when I hold them back to back against each other. And the gauge this is unblocked, and it's already at blocked gauge. So I need to go down to a 3 millimeter needle, but I've done it. I've taken great notes. It's just got a little, I'll give you a little flash. It's got a little knit pearl texture on the front. Just because I felt like doing it. But yeah, I'm going to rip this back, cast on a 3 millimeter needle, and start again. So this will be coming, I'll probably put this into testing in late September. Next couple of months are a little busy, and we'll talk about that in live chat. And this is in my lovely project bag, and this doesn't have, I always forget the name of the maker. This I got at Southern Wool Show. Tracy from the Wool and Wishes podcast. We have matching project bags with these cute little sheep rollicking. But there's no maker, no tag on these bags. And I can't remember the name. But I think Southern Wool Show, is that this weekend? I think Southern Wool Show is this weekend in the south at Newbury Racecourse. So if you are there, I'd highly recommend it. It was a lovely yarn show. So that's percolating in the background. The other thing, I want to do a fingering weight sock for Socktober. So sometime in early October, I'd like to release a fingering weight sock pattern. And I was kind of looking through some old notes and things that didn't actually ever come to fruition, and this isn't the actual sample yarn, this is me just playing. So it's got, let me just turn it around a little bit, a really fun 1x1 with pearl background, little rib, so it looks like that. This is Circus Tonic handmade, just a partial, an 84 gram that I had in my stash that I knit my, I'm having a complete brain fart, Caitlin Hunter, I'll put it on the screen because I really can't remember it. One of my favorite sweaters. I wore a ton last winter and it's poof gone. So I have a skein of this. I'm just working up in my mind's eye. And I think I'm probably delusional. I would like to get this in testing while I'm on vacation, which means I need to finish a sample, write a pattern, and do a test call and get it out in 10 days. And I'm not sure that's doable or not. We'll see. Challenge accepted. We'll see how I go. So Circus Tonic Handmade is an Australian independent dyer. And it's on the Jubilee sock base. And the colorway, is it Moonflower? Moonshell. Moonshell. Lovely, lovely. I do love a 75-25 fingering weight. I love the plump 80-20, but my comfort zone, my happy place for my fingers and my needles is a 75-25, around 425 meters. It's fine, but I love working on it. You didn't need to know that, but I told you it anyway. Okay. Let's do a little cross stitch. So when I was here last time, I had big ambitions of some really long-standing whips that were so close to being finished that I should finish. And I forgot to bring a whip with me. I'll show you it next time. It'll be a finished object. I've not shown it to you. I found it, and I've almost finished it except for a little bit of back stitch, and I forgot to bring it out. And I don't want to pause you and go in and get it. So I showed you this one. It is a series of 4 for each season. Are we in frame? Yes, we are. So this is the summer. And I didn't have much left to go on this, but I was telling you that I had taken out some of the colors to use in other projects and not put them back and not made any notes. Primarily this line, this beige line, was 618 DMC, and I couldn't find 618 DMC in my stash of embroidery floss, but I found it. I found it in another project bag, something I hadn't worked on in obviously even longer than this. But I got this finished. There was a little bit of backstitch to do with the bees flying into the flowers and stuff, but it is finished. I had thought over my summer break that I would fully finish it and mount it so I could display it for the rest of the summer, but I lost the will to do it. My enthusiasm left the building. Okay, and then the other one I finished is this Knitter's sampler. Really like this one. I was thinking I was going to frame it and put it in my craft room, but I think I'm going to put it on my hutch with all of my other stitching. It's too pretty. I want it to be seen. So yeah, really happy with that. Really enjoyed the stitch. I will, now that I'm looking at it, is there supposed to be some extra bits down here? Is it actually not finished? Oh no, it matches the top. No, I'm right. It's done. I finished this not long after I saw you, so it's been 6 or 7 weeks since I've been here. 6? 7, I can't remember. So they're done, and like I said, they just need to be washed and pressed and mounted to go with that other one that the winter one that I finished in the early spring on the black, the chalkboard design. So I have enjoyed cross-stitching this summer, and I thought I would show you what I'm working on now. So I decided to skip autumn in that sampler one, the summer one that I just showed you. This is the winter. Hang on, I am gonna have to take it out of the bag. I decided to skip the fall one and go straight to winter. So I have kitted it up and got it started. Let's get it back in the bag. So I keep my cross stitch in these zippered pouches, and I treated myself to a little bit of stitching. I started this about a couple weeks ago and just did the mittens and the ball of yarn. So yesterday I started this scarf, and I was watching something on BritBox, and I've completely messed up the spacing. So I've already ripped out a section here. I've got to rip this out as well. I had only given myself one thread. I'm stitching 2 strands over 2 threads on this linen. Not linen. It is a Lugana even weave in the color platinum. Stitch Bug is my local stitching store here in Moncton. So I started to pull out that scarf section, so I need to, then I got really annoyed because that was most of the stitching I did yesterday, so I put it away and started knitting. So I need to remember I've got to rip this out before I get myself in the same situation. But as long as I work with the working thread, I've got the blue here. So I stitch in hand. I don't use a frame to stitch. I just kind of bundle up the fabric, get to where I need to be, and I use the sewn method. Yeah, so I just crumple it up and work on it that way. It's what I've always done. I find using a frame to be a little bit, I'm not as fast working on a frame, so I have to stab and go up and down and up and down. Whereas if I can do the sewn method like that and go faster. So that's one thing I'm working on. The other thing is, oh, hang on, I better put this back in the pouch. Is this one, and it is a hands-on design. I've got all 4 of these patterns. I've completed 1. So this is the autumn one, the fall one that I'm doing now. I finished the winter version of this. Again, it's not a black fabric, but it's charcoal, and it's an even weave, so I have to have good light or my neck lamp for this one. And I had already made a really good start on this one. And I worked on this a little bit this summer, but I do need to get back to this. I really love the look of it with the white. I'm using DMC 3865, not white, but it's white. Anyway, so this is why I chose to do winter in the other one, because I already have an autumn themed one on the go. I didn't want to have 2 autumn themed ones on the go because, quite frankly, they're going to take me months and months and months to do. I still automatically default to knitting. So when I go into my basket that sits beside where I craft, I tend to always default to the knitting. Then I get to the end of the day and my eyes are tired, or the light is not so good, and my neck light is not, I'd have to get up off the couch to get my neck light. I end up just defaulting to knitting. So my plan is to do this more because I have really, really enjoyed it. The next things, oh yeah, and the other cross stitch that I'm almost finished, I'll show you it as a finished object next time, or if I haven't done the back stitching, maybe I won't. Maybe it'll still be a stitching whip. Tour de Fleece was still going on last time that I was here, so I was spinning like a madwoman, and I really, really enjoyed it. I focused on, I showed you a couple of things that I had finished last time, the Leo and Roxy and the Sweet Georgia, and I had showed you my beginnings of my John Arbon Appledore fade. Well, I finished it, and I've washed it, and I've measured it, and I've got 4 skeins of yarn to show you. So I'm just assuming that you know Tour de Fleece is a spinning event that runs alongside the Tour de France biking race, and you set your own goals. I ended up not following any group because I was just on summer mode, and one thing about spinning for me, it's very mindless and my hands just do what they want to do, which is why I still struggle with consistency a little bit, but I really, really enjoyed the process. So I have 4 finished skeins. I should do it on this side to get the light. There it is. So I'm going to have to manipulate myself later, and this will have to be my thumbnail because they're gorgeous. Really, really happy with this. So I had showed you, I think I was working on the first one, which was, you were all cheeky with me, Golden Knob. I spun all of these as a 2-ply. So the next one in the fade that I kind of made is Spicy Pippin. It's got some of the yellow, but it's introducing the teals and greens. Yardage. So they're a little bit all over the place. The Golden Knob is 360 yards. The Spicy Pippin is 320, so it came up a little bit thicker. I was obviously in a hurry when I was spinning this one. The next one in the fade is called Hanging Down, and it's got a little bit of the yellow still happening in there, but more of the greens and teals. And then Tom Putt is my worst for yardage at 306 yards. And it is all greens and blues to come up with this beautiful teal. Again, the color on my screen is not showing so great, so we'll see how it comes up for you guys. But altogether, I am planning some sort of a fadey cardigan. So doesn't matter that I have less yardage or more yardage. I think they're consistent enough that they will be just fine together. So I don't know, part of me is thinking I will just kind of do color blocks with these 3 and then use the golden knob in between in skinnier stripes, or whether I just fade all the way through. Undecided. But this was my main spin for Tour de Fleece. It's not the softest yarn in the world, but it also, which is why I'm thinking cardigan. I could wear this next to skin, but if I got hot, I think it would feel itchy. So the plan is a cardigan. I need more cardigans anyway, so this is going to be a winter project. I'm not going to hide this too far away because I really want to knit with this and see how it comes together. So yeah, really happy with that. great to have kind of a cohesive finish as well for Tour de Fleece instead of just random skeins, which is what I normally do. The other spin that I just finished, Deborah from Yarn Indulgences, I mentioned last time, I showed you these fibers last time. I think I've got pictures of the skeins in the fiber. I'll put pictures in up here. So I finished the skein. So this is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and will be socks. Teals and pinks, rosy pinks. Again, it's not showing great on my little screen. Hopefully it's showing well for you guys. Really happy with this. I got, out of 115 grams, 431 yards. So firmly in a heavy fingering kind of weight, and this will make a beautiful pair of socks for me. It will not be the yoke of a sweater, Lucianne. Lucianne of the Front Porch Knitter, if you're not watching her podcast, she is delightful, and always teases me every time I show a finished hand spun that it's going to be a great skein for a colorwork yoke, which is what I jokingly always say when I finish my hand spun. But look, 2 spinning projects in a row, socks and a cardigan. Not a yoke in sight. To be fair, I also haven't ever knit a yoke with my colorworks, my hand spun, so. My next spin that I'm working on is another 3-ply sock yarn. It's this blue, green, teal, really pretty. I've already finished 2 little nano skeins. So I spin primarily on my Dreaming Robots Nano 2.0, and I ply on my Dreaming Robots Electric Eel Wheel 6.0. So I've got 2 little bobbins. The third one is in progress. I didn't bring the wheel out to show you. So this will be another 3-ply sock yarn. It's the 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. Deborah sent me a message that you all had been messaging her about her fiber. Yeah. Sorry. She usually only brings it to shows. But there's a whole bunch of us. We've got a lot of our local friends have been have either taken up spinning recently or are getting more into spinning. So we're encouraging her to get the fiber production ramped up and start selling this lovely stuff. So I do love spinning with this 80/20. It is quite slick and fast, but it makes a beautiful single to be able to do a nice 3-ply. So I will not bore you with any more spinning. That is it for knitting content per se. I have, well, it's not really. Travel knitting. We are going on vacation next weekend. We leave for our trip to Europe. We are landing in Amsterdam, heading right out to go spend 2 nights just outside of The Hague in Leiden. I keep wanting to say Leiden, but I think it's Leiden. We're spending 2 nights in Leiden, then we're off to Bruges for 3 days, 1 night in Brussels, 1 night in Maastricht, 1 night in Arnhem, and then our last 3 nights in Amsterdam. I got some great recommendations last time on the last video. Thank you so much. If you didn't watch that episode and you have any suggestions on where to go in all of those places I just talked about, send them on. Always looking for fun places to eat or go visit. We've got lots of plans. We're just in that 14-day window now. At 10 days, I can start seeing the weather forecast to see what we're looking at as far as temperature, so what to pack, and clothing-wise, how much rain we're going to get, rain gear, things like that. So yeah, it's coming right up. So travel knitting, for me, is always just going to be socks because luggage space is an issue. and I wear a small crossbody bag, and I always have a little sock project going. I was thinking about taking a Musselburgh, but I can't fit that in my crossbody bag. Too big. So I grabbed a couple of things. This is Deep Stash Area 51. It's fun self-striping. It is a Gilmore Girls reference. I pushed him into the lake. When Luke pushes Jess into the lake. So I thought that would be fun, that I will just basically, I'll do a cuff, and then I'll just knit a tube the whole time I'm gone. I'll put this on my 9-inch circulars, and it will just live in my crossbody bag when we're out and about for the day, on trains and buses and whatnot. Or it might be my turtle pearl sweet pea. Sweet pea is my nickname for Sam, always has been, and I had already done Sam a pair of socks, so this is still quite a bit left. I'm going to use hot pink in my Filcolana Arvetta that I picked up at Gold House of Yarn in 2023. So I thought that would be fun for the contrast. And yeah, actually this might be my crossbody bag, because the smaller half skeins do make life a lot easier in the in my little bag. But I also need plain knitting, and we've got some longer train journeys, so I will have something more interesting, patterned. Yeah, so I do need to grab, like I said, I'm going to wind this up and take this for vanilla knitting as well. This is going to be planned vanilla knitting. This will be backup vanilla knitting, and then I just need to take something for more involved knitting, I guess I should say. So probably 2 more balls of stock yarn. We're not going to Amsterdam and / Stephen and Penelope or any of the other Amsterdam yarn shops. I won't get there until the last 2 or 3 days of my vacation, so I need to make sure I've got enough. Somebody told me, oh, I was watching a lot of things on Instagram, the cruise that was happening. The grocery girls were on, Patty Lyons, Skein Sisters. There was a lot of yarn shop, well, just yarny content in general on this riverboat cruise, which looked like amazing. And there's a yarn shop in The Hague, I think they went to. Not sure if we'll have time for that or not. We're just hopping on into The Hague for a day trip. But yeah, anyway, I'll have 2 more skeins beyond those 2, with sock needles with me to do whatever I decide to do. Socks for me are just easy, portable, brainless. I don't need numbers for heels, and everything I carry, I work mostly off of digital patterns anyway. I have all of my patterns on Google Drive, so I don't need a paper pattern to refer to for that. Yeah, so that's travel knitting thoughts. Nothing really exciting, no big shawls or sweaters, just again because of space. Yeah, I did briefly think about my Miserina, but then I got a swatch, and I'm going to be off gauge for that. I know for certain I'm going to want to knit it off gauge. 24, I think it's 24 stitch gauge for the Miserina. It's too loose for me for fingering weight yarn. So I'm going to need to bring that down to more like 26 stitch gauge, which means I'm going to have to do sweater math and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to do that while I'm traveling, because I'll make a mistake. So, socks it is. I haven't bought anything. There's no hummingbird over at my fuchsia. I wish I could just flip the camera and show you. I may put in a quick video the day the wildfire started behind our house. I was out watching the smoke and the water bombers going overhead, and I had 2 hummingbirds get so close to me. So I might put, if it's decent quality, I'll put it in here. Lovely Carolyn from Newfoundland. I didn't ask permission to say your name, but thank you, Carolyn. I really appreciate it. She asked if she could send me a little package, and she didn't send me a little package. She sent me a big package. So I just wanted to show you what she sent me. Some Werther's Originals. Allie on Little Drops Wonderful was talking about Werther's Originals on her last vlog on her This Little Wonderful Life that is for old people. I love Werther's Originals. These are actually going to go with me on the flight. They're perfect size for going into my hand luggage. Cute little tin. It's a beautiful project bag. I forgot to ask if Carolyn made this project bag. But beautiful quilted project bag. Newfoundland. So Newfoundland is a province on the Atlantic, on the east coast, Atlantic coast. It's where Brad's family is from. It's quite a distance. It's very big, quite a big distance away. It's a 7-hour ferry ride, a couple-hour flight, depending on. But a beautiful part of the East Coast. Oh, I never even noticed. Look at this cute little owl. Zipper pull. So, Carolyn sent me a lovely note and some fun goodies. Another beautiful project bag with knitting cats, with spectacles. And then a couple of the most amazing kits. So, Briggs & Little yarn, and the pattern for Some Warm Mittens. This is by the pattern designer from the Saltwater books. I don't know if it's pattern from Saltwater books, but so fun colors. That bright green, so definitely be doing those in the winter. And then heavy socks. So this is probably Tuffy, I would say. I didn't even look. Yeah. So Briggs & Little do a 2-ply called Tuffy that's got nylon in it. So I'll talk to Sam and Rob, because Rob does a lot of outdoorsy things. I'll see if he needs a pair of boot socks, because I think they'd be really useful for him. If not, I'll just do them for me, and they'll be like a pair of slipper socks. That'll work. So thank you so much, Carolyn. That was a really lovely surprise in the mail this week, and a nice little pick-me-up, because life has been a little full-on lately. So this is now chat, and I've been a bit blue. I was a bit glum, and I don't, for no particular reason. I'm assuming it's hormonal, because of course it is. It kind of comes and goes, and some days are better than others, and I was just a bit blah, and I didn't want to come here and be blah with you guys. So I stayed away for a couple of weeks, a couple of extra weeks. I said, I think it's been 6 weeks maybe. And the plan was to come back and record last weekend. But if you've seen my Instagram, I did do a community post on YouTube. We had a wildfire back there, about 2 kilometers away from our backyard. Sunday, was it the 16th? No, that was last weekend. 10th? Somewhere in there. All of a sudden, I'm seeing smoke up above this tree line that you have seen before in previous videos, and I went online to see. We've had a very long, hot, dry summer with very little rain, and there's no burning. They've even closed the trails. You're not even allowed to hike or walk on any of the trails right now because people are stupid. People smoke and do silly things, and whether on purpose or accidentally start fires. And somebody started a fire, we don't know how, back about 2 kilometers away from us, in our backyard. Not in our backyard. There's acres and acres and acres of wooded land back behind us. There's also a gravel pit. So the theory is somebody was working in the gravel pit and sparked something, and it spread really quickly. So Sunday afternoon and Monday we had water bombers going over the house. They were scooping up water in Shediac Bay and then flying over and dumping a lot of water, which was very strange and surreal to see so close, but also very encouraging to see so close to the house. So my first instinct was to start packing things up, and Brad told me not to be silly and not to panic. And then 3 hours later, they told us we should start preparing to evacuate. They wanted everybody to be ready. We were very lucky. The wind direction was blowing away from the house, but if the wind direction had changed, things could have changed pretty rapidly. So, you know, I am 56. My kids were raised in the 90s with no digital pictures, so everything is in photo albums. That was the first thing I grabbed. I crated up all of our photo albums, took all of the pictures off the walls, our wedding pictures, packed a suitcase with, you know, 5, 6, 7 days worth of clothes, emptied out, you know, passports, ID, jewelry, you know, everything. I did not pack up my stash. I figured if I had everything else packed, if they did call for an evacuation, I would just get in there with bin bags, garbage bags, and just throw all of it in there. I don't know if I was in denial or just positive thinking, but I couldn't face packing it all up to have to then unpack it. My brain just couldn't, with my funk and my low mood, I just couldn't face doing it. We did walk around videos and pictures of the house for insurance in case we did have to evacuate and we lost the house to fire. And that was all we could do. So Sunday night, I'm on Facebook and just checking to see if there's any status updates on the fire behind us. And there's a fire in town close to our store. And the original person who posted said it was at a certain location. And that location was wrong. It actually ended up being right next door. There's an empty lot next to our business, our store. And it hasn't been mowed all summer. And the grass was about 6 feet high and, of course, very dry. The assumption is somebody threw a cigarette butt out of a car window or when they were walking. And all of a sudden, this grass fire was very involved. And I saw this video within minutes on Facebook and realized it wasn't where the original poster said it was. It was right next to the store. Panic. So Brad and I gathered ourselves and raced into town, trying to call our son who lives close by. And of course, he was out walking his dog with his phone on silent, didn't hear. They rounded the corner and saw a pretty bad grass fire. The fire department, thank goodness, was only about 5 minutes away from our stores where they're based. These poor firefighters had been out fighting the forest fire back behind us all day, and now they were called out because some idiot threw a cigarette, a lit cigarette, into dry grass. Anyway, we were incredibly lucky. That side of the building has been constructed to be, it's very close to the boundaries of the property line, so it is rated for fire, high rating for fire. It's brick and hardy board, cement board. Anyway, there was no damage, but the fire department, the fire chief told me that when they rounded the corner and saw it, he instantly called another truck because it was so, and they could see flames shooting over top of the building and they thought the building was involved. I'll put a little bit video from Facebook on there to show you what it looked like and what I saw as I was driving, as Brad was driving us into work. I didn't tell him how bad it looked because I was worried he was going to drive even faster. We were already speeding pretty substantially. So I've never had any experience with fire in my whole entire life. And within 8 hours, I've now had 2 pretty terrifying experiences with fire. And the irony of all ironies is we moved, you know, the nice car we went out with. I showed you some video of our picnic that day. We took that car, that 1960 Thunderbird, we drove it to the store where there's spare storage space. We parked it there so if we did have to evacuate, that the car was safe. That car got closer to the fire, and it's extra parking than if we had left it here, because very thankfully the fire did not move any closer to us. Here, the forest fire, it was contained, I think, within 5 or 6 days. It was still burning, but they had it contained within earthworks and fire breaks. So we could unpack our bags. I think I unpacked on Thursday morning. We found out on Wednesday that we were safe. And very grateful to all of the forestry workers across our country who came to help, who are fighting their own fires. It has been a hot, dry summer, and I can't imagine living out west in Canada, where they have these forest fires a lot more frequently. It was terrifying, and thought, yeah. So I had a really rough week last week, and it was our birthday celebrations. It was our 21st birthday celebrations for our business being in operations. So after not sleeping on Sunday night, I had to go into work on Monday and blow up balloons and hang streamers and decorate and then be super festive all week. I was not in the mood. So not in the mood. But we got through it. And all was well that ends well. Our building wasn't damaged. Our house wasn't damaged. The fire didn't. No structures were lost to this fire. And we are moving forward, and my mood has substantially improved. So this weekend, I'm doing a quick trip to Fredericton. Samantha and I are going to go see Come From Away at an outdoor amphitheater in St. Andrews, New Brunswick, which is a beautiful town. So we're going to head up there early Sunday morning and go have a mooch around some of the shops and have a nice lunch out somewhere, and then watch Come From Away, which I've never seen before. Really looking forward to that, and spending time with my girl. I'll spend probably Saturday night and Sunday night in Fredericton, see if I can hang out with any knitter friends on Monday morning in Fredericton, then come home, work my week, get the laundry done, pack our bags, and we are on a night flight on Saturday night out of Halifax to Amsterdam. So I will see you in mid-September. We're back on the 11th, so probably the weekend after. So sometime between we're back and before I go to Knit City, Vancouver. So just a reminder, I'm going to be at Knit City, Vancouver in British Columbia at the end of September. I will be hanging out at Yarn Indulgence's booth most of the weekend, but I will also be at Ginger Snap on Sunday afternoon. I'll let you know the times for that. Kim and Colin very kindly invited me to be a guest in their booth for a couple of hours on Sunday afternoon. So I will pass that information along to you when I get it. I think that is everything. I have no idea how long I've been talking. Not a clue. Just going to have another quick look at my notes. Yeah, that is everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with me. As I said, I've been gone a little longer than anticipated. But I'm so happy to be back, and hopefully back in the rhythm every 3 weeks-ish. Like I said, with my trip, probably be a little closer to 4. But I can't wait to be back. I'm not going to vlog this trip, so if you follow me on Instagram or my Knit Sip Happy account on Facebook, which will be linked below, there I'll be posting things there probably of our trip, but I don't want to do a vlog for this one. There's not going to be too much knitting content. It's mostly a vacation and a trip for us, for Brad and I, to explore a part of the world we've never been, and we are very excited. I will see you in September, my friends. Happy knitting, happy sipping, and I will see you very soon.